This question came in. It says, my biggest challenge coming up this next year after graduating is finding ways to balance continued learning, internships, volunteer work, etc., with the need to adult and make money. Any advice you have would be great. So this is a critical question, right? So in one case, it sets up sort of a false dichotomy, which is you're only learning if you're doing internships or volunteering and doing those things, and it sort of implies that you're not learning if you're actually making money. If you're in a position that you're making money and you're not learning, then it's definitely time to change positions, and that every opportunity that you have to earn money, to hold a job, to do whatever it is that you're doing, should give you opportunities to continue to develop and deepen your skills, figure out what you're good at, and add more experience and more ability, and therefore learn new things. But there is also a temptation to think that that sort of gets you off the hook. You're done with school, you're done with studying, and it's no longer necessary to read and to learn new things, maybe things totally different from what you're doing for the job that pays you. I saw a kind of interesting example of this years ago when I was working in an office, and I hired a gentleman who was probably over 60, and he was actually coming into what we would consider to be an entry-level position with the company that I was working for at the time. And at first I thought he was just kind of doing it sort of as a retirement type job. But then something happened that really got me thinking. He brought me a stack of books, and they were all kinds of books on various subjects. And he said, here, I don't really need these anymore. I pretty much learned everything I need to learn, and it's no longer necessary for me to be doing all this reading. And I thought that was interesting, because here was a gentleman who thought that he had learned everything that he needed to learn, and yet he was now working at an entry-level position that was generally filled with people that were more than a third his age. And I thought there was a correlation between that somewhere along the line, he thought that he had learned everything, and he had stopped learning, and consequently he stopped advancing, and he stopped being able to pick on more and greater responsibilities and make a bigger difference. And so there's definitely a need here to understand two things: that whatever you're doing ought to be giving you opportunities to learn, to develop your skill set, to deepen your skills. But secondly, that you have to make time, no matter what it takes, to continue to study, to learn new things, to expose yourself to new ideas, to read, to volunteer, to do those things, because that's going to be the lifeblood, that's going to be the fuel, that's going to be the perspective, that's going to be the knowledge that will allow you to advance, bring new creative opportunities, new creative ideas to the job that you're in, let you know when it's time to move on, and ultimately will be the fuel that you need to continually to move forward and get better at whatever it is that you're doing.